Welcome to the Center for Security Policy. My name is Fred Fleitz. I'm a senior fellow with the Center and a former CIA analyst.
And I'm Clare Lopez, also a senior fellow at the Center and a former CIA operations officer.
Our topic today is the September 2012 terrorist attacks on the U.S. mission in Benghazi, Libya. Specifically, we're concerned about allegations that there was a cover-up of how the United States government dealt with the aftermath of the situation, and even more specifically, the role of the Central Intelligence Agency in this cover-up. Claire, you wrote a very good op-ed on the situation that has been posted on the Center's website. Can you give us your major findings about what happened in Benghazi and the alleged cover-up of the situation?
Well, that op-ed was specifically about how the talking points that were used on the Sunday talk shows. You'll recall that Susan Rice, then ambassador to the United Nations, addressed these, and then they were also intended for the intelligence committees in Congress. And the op-ed piece was about how those talking points were altered from original wording that actually had in them the fact that really everybody knew within the first moments after the attack on September the 11th, 2012 at our mission, the fact that it was a terrorist attack, it was a military-style assault, it was probably well pre-planned and maybe even rehearsed. But the talking points then were altered in order to remove all references to the prior attacks which had happened throughout the earlier part of 2012, both against our own mission and against other Western targets like the British ambassador and also the International Red Cross. Those references were completely removed from the talking points, as well as the fact that the attack was obviously a terrorist attack and had nothing to do whatsoever with a YouTube video called Innocence of Muslims that the administration was using as its excuse for those attacks.
Well, I have an observation I wanted to make, and then I wanted to get your comment. Now, I was a CIA analyst for 19 years, and I was taught that intelligence analysts advise policy. They don't make policy. And I got to tell you, I was so confused to see Michael Morel, an acting CIA director, involved in making policy. In my mind, this amounted to rank politicization, should never have occurred. What's your take on that?
You know, exactly, Fred, and that really was even the headline of that op-ed piece that I wrote, that this was precisely politicization of intelligence. And indeed, the function of the intelligence community is to collect that intelligence, analyze that intelligence, and present it, not to alter it or shape it according to wishes or in coordination, as this appears to have been done with the White House. And that perhaps is what gets to the politicization of this. The fact that we now know from testimony and very good investigative reporting out there that Mike Morel, while acting deputy at the CIA, coordinated the alteration of these talking points with the White House as well as with the Department of State in order to remove references to terrorism, to Al-Qaeda, and to the fact that there were prior attacks against our mission as well as other Western targets in Benghazi. And the only the thing that comes to mind, of course, is that this period of time, September 2012, is in the run-up to a major re-election campaign by President Obama, and he was running, at least in part, on the assertion that Al-Qaeda had been defeated. Al-Qaeda was dead. Well, this would not have fit very well into that narrative if the truth, as intelligence community, as intelligence analysts like yourself are supposed to present it, had been told that this was a terrorist attack by Al-Qaeda affiliated militias. And there you come to the politicization of the intelligence.
Well, Claire, I have another question for you. It concerns Michael Morel. Mr. Morel is going to be called back before the House Intelligence Committee next week because of the allegation that he may not have been truthful in his prior answers on how he wrote these talking points that were used by Susan Rice on 5 Sunday morning talk shows in September 2012. But the question I want to ask you is the strange situation where Mr. Morel seems to have joined a consulting firm called Beacon Global Strategies. What can you talk about? What can you say about that?
Well, Beacon Global Strategies is a company that was formed in 2013, and various people with prior government service and who previously had been close to the Department of State, Secretary of State at that time, Hillary Clinton, have joined the firm in the months since mid-2013 or so. This is a consulting firm, and it includes now several individuals who were not only close to then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, but as well a former very senior staff member from the staff of House Intelligence Committee Chairman Michael Rogers.
Michael Allen. Oh, that's right, Michael Rogers.
Right, as in a very senior staff member from Mike Rogers, who is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. But that is Michael Allen, J. Michael Allen, whom we're talking about, yeah.
Well, I have one final question, and it concerns an op-ed that I've written about the Benghazi situation. The Senate Intelligence Committee did a long bipartisan study of what happened in Benghazi that was issued in February of 2014, and it was lauded by the news media as the final answer to what happened here. But as you and I know, there was a long set of additional comments by the Republican members who noted that the Obama administration did not cooperate with this investigation, withheld documents, would not provide witnesses, and basically gave information on Morel's activity that was really inaccurate. In fact, the Republican members of this committee made very clear that the administration was involved at the earliest moments of the drafting of the talking points. This was not a non-political document by the CIA. This was something that was directed from the National Security Council, but drafted by the CIA to make it look like these talking points were non-political. Can you add anything as to whether you think this issue is closed, and is there more that the Senate Intelligence Committee should have done to address the situation?
Well, you know, the Senate Intelligence Committee is just one of several committees in Congress that's been investigating Benghazi over a period of many months. And I would have to say that given all of those taken together, they have not yet really gotten to the bottom of Benghazi. And I don't think the American people are satisfied with their answers either. And as well, beyond those 4 reports, there was also another report, as you know, prepared by the Department of State, the Accountability Review Board. But taken together, all of these various reports do not assign blame. In fact, the participants in the ARB specifically were told not to assign blame, were specifically told not to find anyone or any particular people responsible. And so with that as the background, I think we have to say this investigation is not complete, it's not finished, and even in the reports that were released from the Congress, the congressional reports, many pages and passages were blacked out, redacted. For instance, when you get to the questions about were there American forces, maybe air assets within flying distance of getting to Benghazi to be able to have an effect on the course of the attack, followed by pages and pages blacked out. You know, people still want to know what the answer to those questions were. And so I think that there's a lot of work yet to be done. I am a member of an organization called the Benghazi Citizens Commission, or Citizens Commission on Benghazi, formed in last year, 2013, to get to the bottom of this under the leadership of Accuracy in Media, a media watchdog organization. And we have been looking into this separately and distinctly because, precisely, we think that the job has not been done completely or well by the investigative groups, that committees in Congress, the ARB, that already have looked at it. And there are many questions the American people still deserve answers to that have not been answered.
Claire, I think this was a great discussion, and certainly there is an awful lot that still needs to be done to understand this issue. But thank you for being with me today. I hope our viewers found this an interesting discussion. You'll find links to a variety of issues about the Benghazi situation on the Center for Security Policy website. Thank you for watching.